Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 151, the original Kanto Pokemon Pokedex of the Hunt a Day. And today we are going to be fighting Stygian Zinogre, who, just to spoil things a little bit before I get into actually talking about the monster itself, is my favorite version of Zinogre. I like regular Zinogre a lot. It is, there's a reason that it is in the top, three. It was one of the three winners of Capcom's popularity contest that they did for the 20th anniversary. It's a great monster, it's an awesome monster, but especially World's Stygian Zinogre, I think is such a better fight, especially in comparison to World Zinogre. I think Rise Zinogre is a little bit better than World, but Stygian Zinogre blows both of them out of the water. Stygian Zinogre's whole shtick is that he trades the Thunder element, for Dragon, and uses different bugs. And something that I really love about how World handles the Stygian Zinogre fight is in pretty much every other game that Stygian shows up in, it is very much a color swap and an element swap of regular Zinogre. Like the Thunder bugs and the Dracophage bugs work pretty much exactly the same in Stygian's moveset compared to Zinogre's moveset in every other game. But in World, they operate a lot differently, and I really like how they use them in World, with instead of being like actual just like balls of dragon energy that shoot out at you and they're, your traditional projectile, they shoot out, linger for a little bit where they stop, and then a bolt of red dragon lightning will like pop down where the Dracophage bugs land. And not only do I think that's a really good way to differentiate its moveset from base Zinogre, but I also like how it shows a difference in the bugs themselves. The Fulgur bugs, they charge themselves up and they are launched like projectiles. They're like a taser that's meant to like chase down the hunter and physically hit them. Whereas the Dracophage bugs, they're there to like call down concentrated dragon energy, almost like a lightning rod. And I think that differentiation is really, really neat. In terms of the fight itself, it is incredibly fast and hectic, and it keeps me on my toes the entire time I fight it, while never feeling overwhelming. I really like his super move that he has, where he does like the two claw spin slams into a corkscrew that leaves a like dragon lightning hallway behind. It is a really cool, really cinematic move that is very easy to avoid. I can't remember the last time I got hit by this. I was toying around. This is not the first time in a while that I've hunted Stygian. For a couple weeks, I was toying around with the idea of using a Stygian Zinogre Lance and a Lance set for the Fatalis fight on Thursday, but then I decided against it, so all of the time I spent farming Zinogre just kind of went to waste, except for augment materials for my greatsword. So some you win, some you lose. Aesthetically, he is pretty much a color palette swap of Zinogre, and I'm gonna talk about Zinogre a little bit later in the week. The way I'm doing it, just so people are aware, I planned it out so that I've got the top 3 monsters from the popularity poll, all happening back to back, leading up to the Fatalis fight. So it's gonna go Legaia Cruz on Monday, then Ruiner Nergigante, then Zinogre. Ruiner Nergigante because I realized I already hunted Nergigante like at about the halfway point of this challenge, or I think day 100, one of those days. But aesthetics, he is a cool, like, edgy wolf. The silver and black and red color palette is very clean, and that color palette just works really well. The Shadow the Hedgehog color palette is a popular palette because it's good, and I will not be convinced otherwise. My chemical romance as a teenager loving ass approves of the elder emo dog. Y'all probably never could have guessed that was the crowd I rolled with as a youth. But now I'm old and tired, and I don't have time to listen to songs of teenage rebellion. I also think Stygian Zinogre came into Monster Hunter World Iceborne at a very good time. It kind of showed up right before Elatrion, around the same time as Frostfang Barryoff, if I'm remembering right, which gave players a lot of new options for elemental builds, which leading into Elatrion was a great choice. Even though most people didn't take those because they wanted to just brute force it with Raw, and it didn't work out so well for them, and it made people review bomb the game. I still will never understand why they didn't just, adjust and use the elements that the game was clearly signposting. Hey, this is what they're for. This fight is the reason for you to use element. But that's a ramble for another day. And speaking of a ramble for another day, as it is Saturday, and as I am limited on time on pretty much all Saturdays, I am going to wrap up the ramble here for today. After, of course, I do my Will Stygian Zinogre appear in Wilds. I completely forgot to do that. I will say more about this when I fight Zinogre in a couple days. But I think Stygian Zinogre, I don't think we're going to see it in the base game. But I think if we're going to see Stygian again, it will show up in whatever Wilds expansion is. So I'm going to give Stygian Zinogre a 4 out of 10 to show up in Wilds, just because it is banking on both Zinogre being in the game and then having to put in the subspecies. So I am kind of iffy, so 4 or 5. It being number 2 on the popularity poll, I am kind of this is all speculation. Again, I am spoiler free on Monster Hunter Wilds for a majority of the stuff, so please do not confirm if I am right or wrong. If they've shown Zinogre off in a trailer, I haven't seen it, so please don't tell me about it. But I have a sneaking suspicion that all 3 of the monsters that were, the top 3 in that popularity contest are one way or another going to make their way into Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, that's my theory. So, that's why I'm putting Stygian kind of in the middle, because I think it'll be in the expansion. We'll see. And then, of course, 10 out of 10 for a future game. Zinogre is one of those monsters that is slowly creeping up towards, Diablos, Rathian, Rathalos situation, where it is going to be an evergreen monster in a lot of the rosters. And because of that, its subspecies is very likely to show up in future games. And that's where I'm going to end it. I definitely didn't forget when I started signing off at first. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stick around until the end of the hunt if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see you next time.